Hello and happy New Day. Another week dawns. So today we're looking at the theme of devotion and what that looks like, and work with that theme and understand it a little bit more. It's something that I understood a little bit, quite deeply last week in Glastonbury, when I sensed that energy of devotion, and when connected with that, the service that I was working in, I could feel had a completely and utterly not just reciprocal relationship, but when I was acting in divine service, it actually enhanced everything that I did. And it was a sudden remembrance of that being a normal way of being on earth. So that seems something important to share and to help to us each to connect with as we're in more normal lives, because that's an unusual situation, being able to lie in a deeply meditative state after a couple of weeks of doing such, those sort of revelations. When you get to that state of peace and calm, that really does allow that kind of level of access. But of course, when we're back in physical, doing daily tasks and the more mundane sort of service that we might do, like cleaning and cooking, and generally running a business and looking after other people, some of those acts of service can have some fairly heavy attachments to them. So, some of those ways that we serve can come from a sense of lack within ourselves rather than the sense of connection within ourselves. So that's what the theme of today is that we're looking at. Hello, good morning, Merlin. Merlin's just come to say hi, the cat. Yes, you love a bit of Reiki, don't you? So when we devote ourselves to a higher love and a higher path, we open up a chasm within ourselves to accept healing on a much deeper level. And that way we can clear our shadow aspects, such as abandonment, or, senses of loss from which we've been acting. So that's often where we're coming from. Sometimes our actions come from a sense of duty or obedience to an outer norm, and that could be a cultural created version or something that's familial, come through our family line and our ancestors, or it can be self-generated from societal expectations. And it can even sort of come down through our kind of past life. Some people really experience that, and certainly within Reiki communities and a lot of people I work with, that are tuned into themselves on a very deep level, can begin to unlock some of those deeper attachments that come through contracts of past life ambitions. I'm being attacked by the cat. Yes, we love you, Helen. So, when we start to recognize those parts within ourselves and heal them, we can actually bring more of that devotional aspect to our lives, and that is incredibly brightening, and it lights us up inside, but it also lights up our world for all those around us too. So it's a worthy pursuit, shall we say. So no matter what the cause of why we may be acting in a service that is not aligned with our higher self, the key thing, sometimes people want to know, sometimes we don't. We don't necessarily have to know the origin, although it can be a fascinating and fun journey to find those out. But the key thing is to recognize them and release them so that we can, choose differently. So, of course, Reiki provides a channel for this, and that's precisely what I was shown in Glastonbury, that Reiki is a powerful way to help us access and clear some of those attachments, and to also help us to recognize the divinity within ourselves. And of course, that comes through in so many different ways. So devotion is the word, devoting oneself with love and bliss energy to something that resonates. So today, and the invitation is to look for acts of service where you are showing up, and notice What draws you to action? Okay, so take time to notice when you are serving, when you are not serving, and who you are serving. Yeah, is it are you ultimately serving yourself from a place of lack, or are you serving yourself from a place of love? And often, even when we're serving someone else and we feel like we're doing an act of deep service for them, we can actually be serving them from a sense of lack within ourselves. And that is a really important thing to observe and notice, because actually that is dimming our light and that is depleting our energy. It is not actually self-propagating. So serving ourselves is really important, but it's serving ourselves from a place of devotion and divine intelligence rather than from a sense of loss. So it's not selfishness, it's getting to know oneself really well. You can understand the mechanisms that are going on inside yourself, so that you are aware of where your action is coming from, so you can choose more wisely. And that, of course, does take a little time. But this is why I love Reiki, because Reiki is like a fast track for that. It helps us to tune in quickly and to let that higher vibration come in and clear the bit that we're currently, the page we're on. So it's paying attention to yourself, taking time to get to know yourself on a deep inner level. So you can notice where you're serving, who you're serving, and most importantly, why you're serving. Because that's the big reason why you're showing up in that space, And noticing, is what we're serving promoting what we truly believe in? Does it fully resonate with our soul and our most divine calling? Is it really where we need to be? And, not judging ourselves if we find we are, but just allowing the part of us that maybe is trembling a little to receive some of the Reiki light. And in doing so, complete itself so that we have more of ourselves to show up in places that are absolutely calling us. And from a more, acting from a more centered position. Because when we have more of that light within ourselves, we are more able to access that devotion, that sense of devotion, that sense of inner peace and bliss, and shine that into where we are. And so there's a lot of ways that can be where we're showing up and what we're doing. And that's the eternal sense of, we talk about a lot about finding the balance. And balance is not just about cutting things out, it's about being open to understanding ourselves more fully, to know where those balance and tipping points are, because it's really easy to talk about it in a physical way of like compartmentalizing things into, well, that looks more, this is outweighing this and that's outweighing the other, and that's still dealing with things on a very physical level. But this is asking us to go even more deeply metaphysical on it, in terms of actually, even when I look at those balancing books, are those really true for me? Do I really need to be in that place? Or is it just that it was serving me for a period of time? Actually, is it serving that person? Or am I just enabling something on them due to a wound on me? And so these are the sort of questions we can begin to ask. So, to help with that, today, I'm just going to send Reiki for the next few minutes. And in that space of Reiki, if you wish, you can ask Reiki to help to show you, to see more clearly where and how devotion shines in you. Where is your highest service, and how do you most beautifully shine your light? And of course, where needs to be released and let go of. So, just take a moment to go inside, and of course you can choose whether this is something you wish to accept or not. And as you breathe into yourself, just breathe in the light of Reiki. Invite it in, those highest of high Reiki guides. We're asking for the highest light available on planet right now through the Holy Fire. Come down to each of you to receive that divine knowledge and wisdom, how devotion, that infinite loving source can shine through you to clear out any acts of service, the calling to be released on you at this time. And you allow that energy and surrender to it to do just exactly what is needed. You can invite in those higher vibrational guides who are there for your highest and greatest good, who know and understand this path of yours, to your most devoted passion, the passion within you that can stir the awakening of the codes that remind you who you are, where you're going, what you came to do, how you can most easily align with that. And to lift away any patterns, sense of judgment, maybe falling like a veil before your eyes, preventing you from seeing more clearly your inner truth. Your own inner guiding light, your true north. Sitting here with the beautiful sun, just thinking of that powerful masculine energy flowing through at this height of summertime. And we are still sitting in our most brightest potential to shine, just feeling that sun, taking time just to create this beautiful triangle that was shown to me by a friend, Sarah Sims, for capturing those beautiful lights of the sun and allowing that wherever where the sun is, just holding it up to the sun and allowing that to access any parts of you that need that light, that solar energy, to strengthen and empower the healing that you're doing right now, that you are receiving. And knowing that we're slowly approaching that new moon in Cancer. Again, that's a really powerful moon for recreation. And just gently giving thanks for the healing you've received. Will continue to pull through today. You can become clear on those intentions. And as you come back, if you want to, this evening, I've got a Reiki share on 6 p.m. online as well as in person here. And so we'll be leaning into these themes a little more deeply. So you're very welcome to that. And then of course Nicole and I have our New Moon series, which runs on the new moon of every month. And that will be next Monday. And so you're very welcome if you were interested in joining our group to to lean more deeply into these things. You know,